Word Spoken podcast.
I hid behind the mask of a gangster for many years. Hence the reason I carried weapons. I was rarely present for a second, like an absent father. Karma was not a thing I was scared of. The natural world felt so far away from this one. The underworld knows no fresh air, just bongs and brothels, resentfully sharing our drugs with those we pretend to love. I could never admit I was scared. A man's man and a world champ after half a gram. Only some will understand my rhetorical questions. Half-assed answers and days of tension. Nervous laughter fills the air as banter is only one joke away from getting banged. And we're all men now, right? I don't know what happened from year 9 onwards, where I thought I was so dangerous that the world owed me something because I'd had it hard in comparison to my middle-class friends, forgetting we're all from Southend, not Afghanistan, and in their reality, we don't know what hard is. Nonetheless, it's all relative and about perspective, and that's what us cunts couldn't comprehend. As we lent our fivers like it was a life or death situation. It's not about the money, it's the principle, he said, as he threw a brick through some poor mother's window. You fucking pricks! Is it bad parenting that makes kids suffer? Or is it bad kids inflicting suffering on their parents? I guess every case is different. I know 2 brothers who are polar opposites. So what happens then? We're quick to blame government and authorities before accepting responsibility in our own communities. My problem was I was an angry young kid who couldn't see his academic potential, but luckily always had instrumentals to fall back on. My mates that didn't smoke crack or are in prison now. I guess some made it out, but as you know, you'll never be as close as you once was. These days, I meditate, procrastinate and masturbate occasionally when I ain't preaching to the converted and speaking to other wordsmiths in poetry nights. I'll be the first to admit I know fuck all. Well, I heard that's what a wise man says anyway. Really, I think I know it all, but can't remember what happened yesterday. Typically stereotypical. My messages aren't subliminal. I'm in your face like wrinkles. The bow selector to your Botox. So then, so what? What's my message? What am I going to say? If I had £1 for every poem that I forgot, I'd have at least 50 quid. £1 for every line I should have wrote down, at least another score, and yet I'd still want more. My problem is I don't know when to stop. And once I've started, it's a landslide. All I know is my nan is more gangster than the gang life, and I'd live a life of freedom. I'd rather live a life of freedom than have my hands tied. I want my son to grow up to say, yeah, I've seen my dad cry, but I've seen him laugh a lot more many times. Now, I don't want to be accused of having Jim Carrey bars, living my life behind a mask, but it's hard when every character defect just leaves another scar. And in our 2020 Instagram reality, everything looks so perfect. But when we remove our masks, there's more substance beneath the surface.
So that was the wonderful Sonny Green with Substance Beneath the Surface. What a powerful piece. Put it there, man. Thank you so much for coming on to Word Spoken, mate. It's a absolute pleasure. You've got your mug of coffee right in front of you.
That's right.
To keep this.
Am I the latest guy that's ever arrived on your podcast?
You could be. This could be a new record.
Mad.
I reckon you should wear
1
that.
1 a.m. I was supposed to be here at like 7. Sorry about this.
I reckon you should wear that with pride, mate. You can take away a little badge with you.
Do you know, I blame TfL and all those red lights. There's so many red lights in between the Tower of London and Tooting.
Yeah.
It's actually a joke.
Yeah. Well, we're a long way down here, aren't we?
Sort it
out.
I mean,
you've come a long way. The one thing I will say, mate, is you've come a very long way to be on this show. So massive Thank you for that. That's really, really cool.
No
mate.
worries, man. And the flights coming into America was a nightmare at the moment, but it is what it is. From the South Bronx to South London. It's nothing, baby.
That is commitment, if ever I've seen it.
Freedom,
mate. Well, look, the first thing I wanted to do for our listeners, obviously lots of people listening will already know you, but potentially some people don't. So what I wanted you to kind of kick things off with is for you to give us a bit of a chronological story into how you arrived at becoming a spoken word artist. Now, your first kind of step was music. So let us into a bit of an insight into your kind of teenage self and what you were getting up to and how you ended up doing what you do now.
Okay, so I made my first song in Clooney Square in Southend when I was 14 at Connections. They had all these Macs there, and we was just allowed to be let loose on them, really. And they had Logic, same Logic you're using now, which was amazing. And this was in like 2010 or something. And we just pressed record and started recording stuff. And that was all great. And then and it was more like grime stuff. So it was just like writing just, the usual kind of grime vibe. And then it just kept going and going and going. The first song I ever made, people was like, the kids a few years above me was putting like lots of pressure on me and stuff to like stop making music. And I was like, you ruined your life, all this stuff. But I just carried on. And then when I was 14, I'd done this thing called 140 TV. You can still see the video, SGB 140 TV. There's one when I was 14 and one when I was 15. And they just started getting crazy views. Like one of them's got 50,000 plus views and stuff. And it just went viral in my area. And I'd done an a cappella piece at the back of the one where I've got my hood up in the alleyway. And it was actually quite conscious and deep and the grimy stuff wasn't like the freestyle I'd done before that was quite aggy and traditional grime and but anyway.
What like age was this?
I was 15.
What age are we talking? Okay, you're 15.
I was 15, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And it's so good as well. Like I watch the video now and I'm like, this is hard. Like I love it. And so do some people. Like even some of my mates' dads that never listened to grime and that, nothing like that. They used to play it bare loud. Like and those that I know I'm talking about as well, so big them up. But like it really, and then I'd go to other areas and people would know that video. That's the one that got me onto SBTV, all this sort of stuff. So shout out to James and 140 TV and all the people that was involved there. Because that was just like a big turning point in my life. And then from there, I just really knew what I always wanted to do was like music and perform and arts and poetry and all that stuff. And I'm lucky enough to still be doing it to this day. And I've had like an okay career out of it, you know, which is
so
cool.
When it came to your kind of rap and your grime, were you always like, would you say that you were kind of very conscious about the writing? Like, because obviously rap is kind of writing, but then you add a lot in. You add the beat, you add the fact that you're going to have to kind of stay to like the beat. Yeah. So would you say you were someone that added a lot of like purposefulness to like your raps, or did that kind of vary?
I don't know. I guess I did and I didn't. I mean, I definitely started to when I made When Words Found Music Speaks in 2012. Because then the whole like mixtape, as it were, was just every track was like about like changing society. I got on one, man. Like when we was 15 or whatever, we was like big on this Illuminati New World Order stuff. Like we'd sit like before it was like, you know.
Well, that's also a super young age to be getting into that kind of stuff.
We was just smoking bare weed, man. We were smoking bare weed, watching all these videos, Alex Jones and Ike and all this stuff. And like, we was just all like, I could tell that something wasn't right with the system and I was searching for answers, yeah? And we just went down that path. And then I went to protest at the Occupy thing, with the 1% in 2011. In October, and around the same time I got booked for the 9/11 Truth gig at Passing Clouds in Doorsteps, right? And that was my first ever paid gig in London. And I was like a kid from Southend selling drugs and weed and doing all that rubbish. You know, I had a very small town kind of perspective on what it all is. London seemed a million miles away, even though it was only, you know, an hour up the road. And I was very aware of, I don't know, what people thought of me, what the area thought of me, what people are years above me in school thought of me, and I don't know, I just had a big ego problem. But we was making this music and it was conscious, and I wanted to change the world. Anyway, when we got booked for this gig, I took Ags with me. He's a rapper from Basildon. He's doing quite well, collaborated with a lot of people. Still doing his thing. When we went and done it, it was just like opened up a whole new world for me, man. And it was just so incredible. And then the protest happened a few weeks after that. So that gig was in September the 11th, and MC Angel was hosting it, who ran Lyrically Challenged, which was kind of one of the best. It was the best poetry night at the time, and nights like Word on the Street kind of grew out of that, and kind of Trouble Tongues grew out of Lyrically Challenged kind of thing, you know. And there was a lot of poets that was out of the scene that I kind of called up and got them back on the scene when we started Trouble Tongues, because the old connections were there. And so yeah, it all started. Yeah, so that's how it kind of went. And
so what? Just my kind of question there would be then. So you've at quite a young age, you kind of started out in rap, and you were kind of you had these really cool gigs coming up. So what was it about spoken word that kind of tempted you, and why did you start kind of doing both?
Doing poetry. Well, but basically, honestly, if I'm really honest, there was One Taste. I filmed a poetry video for One Taste in Balham, funnily enough, above what's that pub called near the train station?
The Bedford,
yeah. And I had a gig there, and there was this One Taste. So One Taste was putting out all of Kate Tempest videos. Danny was like who runs that. I had a meeting with her, and she become like my manager and stuff. And I'd done a spoken word video for that. That was the first time I'd really ever written for intentionally to do a spoken word video. And it went absolutely viral, you know. It's got nearly 100k hits on YouTube. And it went everywhere. Like David Icke and Alex Jones posted it on their websites and stuff.
Alex Jones posted it on his website?
Yeah. It went mad. It went all across America. I was getting loads of messages. It was huge, bro.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it literally, it was mad.
And it was your first kind of spoken word piece?
And it was my first kind of spoken word piece I'd done, right? Okay. And the reason why I'd done it was because it was a lot easier for me to get gigs and get paid to do poetry than it was to get paid to do like hip hop and that. And really? It was just a lot. And I could turn up. I used to do in 2011, the end of 2011, the start of 2012. I sacked off my A levels, which I managed to fluke my way onto in the first place, right? Because I left school when I was 14, and then I went back to do my GCSEs. I got 3 C's, and the school Cecil Jones I went to was like, you got 3 C's and you ain't been here for 2 years. And I didn't turn up to any other exams apart from English, sociology and RE, and all the others I bunked. I was blazing away. I didn't even turn up to, yeah. So and I was like, do you know what, you got mad potential, we'll give you a chance at A level. So I done A level law, A level English, and anyway, a month into that, Occupy happened, and I went to London, and I was like, mate, see ya, the revolution's happening. Like, we're fighting against the 1%. Do you know what I mean? Freedom, right? So that was that year, and then I was like, right, what am I gonna do now? So I started doing gigs. I was living with the owner of Passing Clouds, and I used to be at Passing Clouds, which is now the Jago, which is now where we run Trouble Tongues. I was there like every night, hosting events and just really learning my craft. And I was MCing and hosting and jamming. There was Thursday jam and Sunday jam, and it was all like Latin, Holtat Williams playing like Latin congas, and a lot of Afro Latin music, a lot of Afro music, a lot of like reggae, and there was like legends, man, like Baba Soze, and like he's passed away now, and everyone used to call him Pops and that. It was like real legends, like Jamaican and African legends of East London and North London, like the real G's, man. Like so many absolute legends. Planet Man, like everyone. Yeah. Everyone, like I'm forgetting so many names, but everyone knows who I'm talking about, like everyone that was around that time.
So what like was it from, so that kind of first piece that you did when that clip went viral, obviously that's epic to have such success on like your first go, but what was it if you take out how well that first piece did out of the kind of thought process, what was it about spoken word which you thought like, actually this is a bit of me, and like I'm kind of happy being both of these kind of personas, because there is a bit of a difference obviously in the style, and
I think it was approach. Just to spread the message, man. I could just get a direct message there, and I loved the fact that you could just silence crowds, bro. Like they'll just be silent. And when you'd rap on beats, people are still dancing and talking. But when you do poetry, everyone just stops and listens, man. And like it's really like if you're not careful, like you can go ego crazy on that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because it's such a buzz. You can silence a room and I listen to you. And don't forget, I was 16, man. I was 16. I was performing at these events, like, and silencing rooms. And I was looking at me like, wow, like, and I was thinking, rah, this is mad. This is mad. And everywhere I was going, I was doing it, turning up at open mic nights all over. I'd do a gig a night, every night. And then I'd go back to Passing Clouds and do a gig there. And I'd sell my CDs when Words Found Music Speaks. I sold 10,000 in 2012 just for donations. And I was just living off CDs. And back then, like, obviously it's a long time. Well, it feels like yesterday, but it was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And CDs were still, people had CDs all the time. Like, and they was more kind of, I don't know, they were still a little bit, they was just about to die.
It was just about the end.
It was just about the end. So I got away with it. But everything on the CD was like hip hop, and I'm still with the same record label now. When I gave a CD, and the people at Brixton Jam, Hostage Music, are still supporting my music to this day. And the manager I'm still with, everyone, basically, that When Words Found Music Speaks mixtape, hip hop, conscious hip hop, was what got me to where I am today, and the poetry and all that. But realistically, the spoken word is what them pieces is what everyone really was like, this is the stuff. Like,
yeah, they had, I guess because it's more dense, and there's I guess a bit more of a focus on the word choice, right? Like, because because rap, the words can kind of go by pretty quickly, so you need to listen to it a few times to really catch everything. Like, if you hear it for the first time, a rap tune, like, you're probably not going to catch what they just said, right? But with a like spoken word piece, you can kind of, as you kind of said, grip the audience, make sure every word is heard, and therefore the first time they hear it is often the best time, right? It's kind of the like time.
It is,
you know.
It is. It really is. The first time you hear a piece, it's like, and it's like we were saying earlier. That's the issue with spoken word. Maybe is that once you've like shot your gun, it's like once someone's heard that piece, they might not. I don't know. For me, I don't like hearing this. If I've heard the poem, I don't want to hear it like again and again and again. But when someone's got a hit song, you go to their gigs to see them perform that hit song. And poetry is slightly different for us as poets. I don't know what it's like for people that maybe just come to watch poetry, but usually most people who come to gigs are poets.
Poets.
No, like
what? So that is a good question. Why is that? Because that is so true. Why is it that most people at an open mic night, especially now we've got to like limit the numbers. It's all a bit, you know. Although I will say at your night the other week, there was actually quite a lot of non-poets.
I know.
But that's rare.
Never ever seen before. People I've never seen before.
Yeah, actually, I kind of take that back, that last bit. But why is there like?
But no, that's
such
unusual.
No, it was.
That was
rare.
unusual.
It was rare.
I don't know why that happened.
The vast majority of the crowd weren't poets.
Yeah, and I didn't know. It was like, usually I go to Trouble Tongues and I know most people. And that time I knew like maybe like 5 or 10 of the people. I'm like, well, I don't know what happened that night. And the ticket sold out in like a day or two. So I don't know what's going on, because it wasn't like that. I was like, oh yeah, we're at Trouble Tongues. Like, so people were just buying tickets to go out, I think, to events. I don't know what's going on. But I mean, I enjoyed it and that, but I don't know.
No, it was great, man. It happened last week. It was in that venue, which you were just talking about. It was so great to be back in that kind of vibe in that room. Obviously, it was limited and whatever, but it was as good as we're going to get for a while, I reckon. So I guess we're lucky, because that's a whole other conversation.
Going underground.
Right, look, I want you to. So look, I want to talk about Troubled Tongues more in a little bit, but I want to first of all hear your second piece that you're going to perform for us, which is entitled "Obsessed." So give us the kind of context around this piece. Why did you write it?
I wrote it because of. I really don't want them to. I don't want to give a game away, but I wrote it because of how obsessed I am with this thing, and how it's took over my life and a lot of my friends' lives and families' lives, and how it's just really, I don't know what to do about it. It's uncontrollable and sad, but at the same time, we probably wouldn't be here in this room together if it wasn't for that. So it's like this weird kind of, this weird, I don't know, it's very surreal. It's very, I don't know, man. It's like, it's just, so I don't know why I wrote it either, really. I just wrote it. You know what it's like, man. I don't even know why I do half the things I do, man.
That is quite a weird question to ask and answer.
No, it's a cool question because it's understandable.
Sometimes it's like, actually, why did I fucking write
it's understandable, but like, I probably, if I'm honest, and if I was trying to answer it if they'd already heard it and then I answered it, basically.
Yeah, we can do that a bit as well if you want, afterwards.
Okay, well, I wrote this to try and like wake people up maybe to the elephant in the room sometimes.
Fine. Well, look, let's hear the elephant in the room. This is Sonny Green with Obsessed.
You don't love me like you're supposed to. When I use you, I feel used. But I always come back for more self-abuse because I'm selfish, just like you. I take selfies with you smiling, but inside I'm really crying because I don't want you that close to me. I don't want you to share all my greatest experiences with me, but if I don't share them with you, it just doesn't feel right. And I'm dying. You interrupt me when I'm writing, and you know I fucking hate that. I've told you so many times, but it's fine because you're mine and with you I share my rhymes. But I definitely write a lot less because of you. Because I'm weak for you. When I'm alone, I speak to you. When I'm out the zones, I fiend for you. I share all my hopes and dreams with you. And you don't even reply. You don't love me like you're supposed to. In fact, with you, I'll never be satisfied. And I hate the things you make me sacrifice, like when I'm at my nan's and she's trying to tell me something that's not really that important. Truth is, she just wants some human connection, something better than boredom, but you're there in between us, a constant distraction saying, use me, I love you, look, here's some more action. And my nan's like, Sonny, did you hear that? Sorry, Nan. What's that again? I don't like it when you do that. Still in precious moments with my family that I'll never get back. For you. And at.
Look at you scribble away with a pen and page. That was Sonny Green with Obsessed. And the moment I handed him a pen and piece of paper, he's been scribbling away frantically.
Can't help it, mate.
you're
ADHD.com.
You're just a writer through and through,
yeah,
mate.
Man.
Look, that piece was epic, man. That was really good. Thank you so much for sharing your words with us there, man. Really, really great piece. And I love that last line where you just give us away what you're really talking about. It's the app. So yeah, thanks so much for doing that one. So look, as I said, just before we heard that piece, we do, I want to make sure that everyone knows about Troubled Tongues. So Troubled Tongues is the night that you started. And it's been running for how long?
2 years.
2 years, right?
2.5, yes. 2 years.
And I would say, look, okay, how would you characterize the night if you had to sum it up?
Just like the best night.
Numero uno, mate.
I've got mad. Yeah, no, I just think it's great, man. How do I sum it up? Like, I don't know. It's like,
what makes it stand out?
I guess it's like, I don't know, man. Just maybe, I'm not really sure. It's quite hard to, I just think it's a good night, and I just try and kind of give it a little bit of an edge to it, make it a little bit more dangerous, and maybe you don't know what things are going to get said. I try and mix it up a little bit and get it. Yeah, I think my hosting, some of the stuff, the way I try and sort out the open mic, I don't just, I try and really strategically do it and make sure it's a mixed bag throughout the open mic and throughout the featured acts, and really try and get it so we got a different so we're getting all flavors, I think that kind of does it, is kind of about right. Like
what I would say is it's quite like a raucous energy. There's a bit of a kind of, you don't really know what's coming next.
Yeah. That's what I like. I try and get it a bit like that, bit spontaneous, a bit like, does he really know what he's doing? But but it's sick. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, winging it, but you know, with the intention of making a great night. And sometimes it's just, you got to feel it. So I try to feel stuff as much as possible, and I try to switch it up. So sometimes I'll put a featured act in between the open mic. Sometimes I'll put them all at the end. Sometimes I'll put one first, one in the middle, you know? Just whatever feels right at the time, I just try and do. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it works, and most of the time people have a good time. And you know,
no, I think that's quite a wise move, because sometimes with a night, if all the features are at the end and things drag on, there's been too many people sign up and like the host feels a bit, okay, yeah, sure, come on. And then people drag on. And then if people are leaving before the last act, man, that's like, oh, this hasn't gone well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I like think that makes sense to kind of actually play the room a little bit as a host.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we had a lot of fun last week. It was great.
Okay, man.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So look, one other thing that you did with Troubled Tongues, I think better than anyone else, is one of the things. one of the
just
things.
one.
The rest you were second. No, but you carried it on in the virtual Instagram world during lockdown every day. Correct me if I'm wrong here. For 50 days in a row.
Yeah,
right.
Like that, yeah.
That was so impressive.
Yeah, man.
You really, like, this is a little thing from the scene, I reckon, but like, I think for so many people, you kind of got them through that kind of like worst time because we were obviously missing the scene. Suddenly our lives just kind of come to a crash so quickly. And there you were, 7 p.m. every night with the same energy that you'd have at an open mic night. How did you do so many in a row?
I don't know, man.
Every day.
I think it was more for myself as well. It's for probably like that selfish, I don't know what it was. I just got addicted to it. I've got such an addictive personality. And as soon as we started getting a little bit of success and as soon as we started getting new listeners and stuff like that, I just got addicted to the numbers and I just wanted to see the numbers rising. And I was just like, wow. And then as soon as we started like linking up with all those.
With the US.
Yeah, with the US, it was just like game over. And then it was like, bang, addicted to it. And then we done the slam and I had over 100 people watching it. It was just a buzz. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like everyone benefited from it, but like I just loved it, man. And now we've got like proper friends in America that are just waiting for this to end so that we can go over there and they can come over here and just linked it up. And events aren't happening over there at the moment. Otherwise, there'd be a Troubled Tongues New York popping right now. And we've got stuff in place for it to go like that. So yeah, we're going to do all that stuff. And it's just like, yeah, man. Sick. It's just like mind blowing, man.
How did you then link up with the poets in the US? Did they just come across the page?
Do you know what? I started following them all, man. I started following them all, DMing them. And I just got on it. I was just DMing people, bro.
Tactics.
I was just like, right, New York spoken word nights, bang. So then I started going on it, DM. Yeah, we got this tonight. Do you want a slot? Yeah, we're a night in London. Do you want a slot? 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 Voice noting them. Hello, mate. What's going on? Yeah, I'll do a poetry night in London.
They would have loved that.
Yeah, like all that sort of stuff.
Do you want a cup of tea, mate?
Do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so, and before you know it, the whole scene, like, boom.
It was sick.
Yeah, and honestly, it was good. And now I see, like, you know, now we're all connected. So the job's done. Now we done it. And it was like the best thing for our scenes. And to be honest, I don't feel like the scene, they have got a massive scene out there, but we've tapped into like the Instagram scene because I feel like there's another scene out there as well. So we've probably like only just touched the just started, you know, like we're in there, like, you know, we know some of the big players in America, like all of us do now as well. And we've opened the doors and they've kind of opened the doors into London as well. Yeah. So it's like mutual benefits for all of us and they're buying Troubled Tongues merch and we're buying their merch and it's all popping off, man. Yeah, it's good, mate. But the slam was the one, you know.
It was.
And we raised £1,000 in 3 days, man, like, or a week or whatever it was, you know, and Chev Too Much, like we sent him $500, like, do you know what I'm saying? Off an Instagram slam.
Yeah, that's some
mad. It was mad. It was mad.
Honestly, it was really great. Obviously, it was Woodsy kind of from the other who was also in the final, and I think in the kind of comments section, everyone was like, I mean, it was so hard to call, and everyone was like, do you know what? Are they like they both?
Yeah. It was
like
mad.
must have been hard to kind of judge.
It was, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is.
But it wasn't. I guess it wasn't about winning, was it? At that point,
I don't know. I think it was, but it was tough. I mean, it's just Chev's Black Boy poem was just. It's just too much.
It was amazing.
Yeah, the way his style, everything, it was amazing. Woodsy, obviously, incredible.
Yeah.
But we done it on votes as well, didn't we? It was like I can't. It all feels like so long ago now.
I know it's kind of another world, but
it is. But yeah, it was incredible, and I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who tuned in, including yourself and everyone else who was a part of that. Because without you guys, it would have never happened. But yeah, like seriously, we done it all together, and it was.
It was fire.
Yeah, the first lockdown was the best, and the first lockdown was incredible, man. Like, but yeah, no, it was a vibe, and it's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Till
no, man, that is it. Look, we have reached the part of the show which I like to call 155. So I hope you're ready for this. You're going to smash this. 155. Okay, 155 is the part of the show where we challenge our guest, Sonny Green, to a quick fire free write. The rules are as follows. You have got 1 minute 55 to write a piece about a word which you're about to pick out from this box right in front of us. As I said, you got 1 minute 55 to complete this task, but after which you have to solemnly swear to read it out loud. Now, Sonny Green, do you solemnly swear to read it out loud?
I solemnly swear to read it out loud.
There you go, mate. We're on the Harry Potter vibes in here. So, okay.
You're going to shake the box.
Give it a shake. Shake it a box, man. Okay, so we got Sonny Green. Now, do you know what? It's actually been a little while since we've done this, so I can't really remember what these words are. They're proper random, mate. So use them how you want to use them. Cool. Feel free to be as creative and abstract with the concept as you can. So can
I use two or not? No?
You can if you want. Why not?
Why not?
Why not, mate? 155 with a double word. Sonny Green. Show us how it's done.
Robots.
Oh,
okay. God.
Robots.
That's going to be like a...
This is giving your own challenge.
And cats.
Wow. Both plurals. Okay. Robots and cats. So, Sonny Green, what we're going to do, mate, is we're going to put 155 on the clock. You're going to hear the countdown in your ears.
Right.
We've got two words. We've got robots and clocks. Your time starts now. Okay, so he's slightly shot himself in the foot here with two words, but Sonny likes a challenge. Of course he does. So excited to see what he comes up with here. Robots and cats. Now look, this is the other bit as well. You listening at home, you've got the chance to win yourself a word spoken mug, right? We're talking merch. So don't be a mug, win a mug. That's my little saying that we do for this. But look, honestly, if you just DM, and I've had some amazing ones sent in, by the way, but if you just DM whatever you come up with, right, in this time, you're probably going to lie a little bit. You're going to take a bit longer than 1 minute 55, but that does not matter because I just want to see what you can kind of freestyle come up with these two random words. And when you do, you DM them, I choose the best one from each week and I send the winner a word spoken mug. So what is not to like about that? We are over halfway. We're going to hear the crash. Okay. Now, Sonny is someone that is obviously a rapper, as we've also spoken about. So I'm expecting like a lot of fire here. I'm not going to lie. I reckon this is his kind of challenge. So look, we're coming up to about 30 seconds left, and let me tell you, he's written a lot down. Kind of gone for the MEP approach of just writing a lot, which was actually really good when she did that. So let's see what comes up. We're getting very close to the 10-second countdown. So just a reminder, everyone send in whatever you do and you can win yourself a word spoken mug. We're at 7 seconds. I'm getting tense. Put down your pens, mate. Well, Not both of them, just one of them. Sign it off with a little SONNY to the G. Okay, mate, just drawing all sorts in there. Okay, look, so what I will give you is a little bit of time just to maybe read it through once. If you just want to kind of collect it in your mind, see where you're at. Whoa, we're on 3 pages, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not 3 pages.
Yeah, one, 2 and a bit.
Yeah, it's just because I was writing big, man, but the cat's bit messed me. But
okay, so you can either just go straight into it or do you want to little read it? The 2 words, just to remind everyone, were cats and robots. We've got 2 words this time, which is always good. Sonny Green, whenever you're ready, let's hear your 155.
Right, some of these words are pretty unreadable. I'm going to make them audible, hopefully. Robots. I must set myself free. Meow, meow. Can't you see? Life's more than purring. Tabby cat. Don't let them change ya. You will be free. We love you. Robots, suck your mum. We ain't as dumb as you think. The meltdown is beginning. Waning moon shine into my soul. The reflection of the window shatters the dreams of customers waiting in line.
Yeah.
Bars, bruv, yeah. Sonny Ross, Clark Green. In your area. Trouble tongues, freedom to the world. I'm back.
I love when you started that. I was just robots in the pause. I was like, okay, he's just going to say the words. And cats. Mate, that was exceptional. That was good. I love the little ending as well, man. You got
I know,
kind of emotional
that's
on
when
me.
I started getting poetic. Waning moonshine into my soul. The reflection of the windows shattered.
Mate, I didn't see that
Waning
coming.
moonshine into my soul. The reflection of the windows shatters the dreams of customers waiting in line.
I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, whoa. Nice one, mate. That was really good.
No
Thank you for playing a 155 challenge.
English lit degree. Like,
Yeah. Was it? Did you?
Sign
Wow.
me off.
Yeah. They.
Poet, mate.
So look, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the workshops that you yourself run.
Okay.
So this is under the same Troubled Tongues kind of brand and stuff as well. But can you tell the listeners and me in this room as well a little bit about what you do with those workshops?
Okay, so Trouble Tongues workshops are like group workshops where we run spoken word sessions. We teach young people the power of poetry, spoken word and rap, and how to perform and build communication skills and confidence skills and do all sorts of creative tasks and writing tasks to get young people to just really express themselves and get writing and find that outlet. And I also run music mentoring as well, which is more one-to-one sessions. So we do that in schools and we work with like social services and youth offending and they bring them to our studios in Fort Bay and we run one-to-one sessions there. And we've just recruited Sadie Davidson as well. So she does some sessions there and a graffiti artist called Luke and he's great as well. And we do the street art there as well. So yeah, man, they're wicked. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
What, is there so some of the stuff that the kids do, like how like do they react to the kind of concept of doing spoken words like for the first time? Is it something that they warm to straight away, or does it take a little time?
Some of them don't. You know what I mean? Different strokes for different folks and all that. Yeah. Some of them smash it. But for one thing's for sure, they all manage to get some stuff down and write stuff, and some of the stuff is like incredible. Like and some of the young people that was in the Troubled Tongues workshop was coming on the lives and performing to like big audiences on Instagram and stuff, you know? So that was amazing. And hearing their poetry that they've written in workshops, doing them online to these big audiences, and it getting out to America, and some of them like 12 and 13.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
So what is the full age?
Yeah,
range?
like 11 to 17.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Secondary school.
Amazing. See, that's so. Like, I just think that's such a amazing thing to kind of be a part of and to kind of lead. It must be like you must get a lot of enjoyment from that kind of.
Man, I do. It's like I do. Yeah, it's don't get me wrong. There's pros and cons, but the cons are all to do with like
admin or something.
The admin, just the admin is just like, oh god, and like, you know, getting paid for it, really. I mean, it doesn't matter that much in terms with the schools and stuff, but you know that like there's certain teams and that have got like budgets and things, and they may not want to, like, I don't know, they might just underestimate like what you can actually do and stuff. So then you have to like either raise money yourself or like volunteer, and you know, you just want to do the good work.
Yeah.
You got something here, bro.
Do I?
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
In my eye?
Yeah, it's out now.
Oh, is it out now?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, mate.
That's okay.
You're always looking out for me because this is being filmed. So
I know.
we don't want any eye thing.
You would, yeah, but
You didn't
sorry,
tell me
Sonny,
the whole
we
time.
didn't record that last part of the video because I had sank on my eye.
Wait, what was I going to ask you? I had a brilliant question on the tip of my tongue there.
Sorry, bro.
What was I going to say? I was going to... Oh, yeah. No, I was just wondering, like, what are some of the things you can do as a mentor to kind of get people writing? So obviously you kind of, if you just shoved a piece of paper and a pen in front of a kid, then, well, you were drawing loads of stuff, but if you just shoved a piece of paper and a pen in front of a kid, they're going to be like, rah, what are you doing? And like, I'm not going to write down anything personal here. So like, what are the kind of things you can do with the kids to kind of get it out of them?
So have you got a pen?
Yeah.
Do you want to show it?
Yeah, mate. You're going to do a session on me now?
Yeah.
Okay, mate.
Let's do
it.
My favourite superpower is...
Okay. My favourite superpower is...
And now, Henry, you can write anything you want, whatever superpower you want. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
My favourite super is flying.
Yeah.
And when you're flying, where are you going to fly to? What do you want to see?
I'm going to fly to... where am I going to fly to? Brazil.
My favourite superpower is flying. I'm going to fly to Brazil. Go on.
Yeah. I'm going to fly to... Man, I feel like a little kid in the class. This is epic.
I'm going to fly to Brazil, right?
And then it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah, and then it's like, my favourite superpower is flying. I'm going to fly to Brazil. And then like, you know, it's like...
Whenever I'm flying on the ocean, I'm going to feel ill.
And then we just have a few more like little kind of things like that where we just kind of look at your imagination and there's... I forgot actually that. And then there's another one, like my favourite superpower is... I'm going to fly to Brazil, and then, you know, what your favourite things are. And we try and make them quite positive and quite like imaginative and outside the box. There's loads of different writing exercises like that where we just start breaking stuff down and kind of tap into like this like imaginary world. And then we start looking, and I get videos up of poets that I like, and I go, look, this is what they're doing, and it's like 2-3 minutes long, and they're like really pouring their heart out, and you know what's bothering you, what's affecting you, like, you know, let's tap into something that you can get passionate about. And then I get them performing, and then I say, try and memorize that piece, and then come back and perform it once you've memorized it. And then, you know, and then they come back and they just smash it, man. I know some poets that are like 12 years old and they're better than half the scene. I swear down.
I bet.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I just wish that I could like put you on the stage at Troubled Tongues, and one day we've got to make happen, because there's just something. It's like when I was 16, like some of the best that poem is arguably as good as what some of the stuff are right now. Do you know what I mean? And there is no difference. It's like sometimes you can plateau, and there's definitely poets that have been in the game for so long and they haven't got any better, you know, and that's just life sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you just don't, like, I don't know, it's weird.
This is going to be a hard question to answer, but what makes a good poet in your eyes?
Honesty, man. Just raw truth. If I can tell they're being honest, I like whatever hits my heart and what makes me like cry and that. Like, that's why I love spoken word, because I listen for like people's stories and their testimonies, and I just want to hear stuff that that I can either like connect with, or that either makes me laugh, cry, smile, all that stuff that where I can listen to it and think that's real. I don't want to hear no rubbish. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about, I don't know, man. I just like hearing pain. I don't know why. I'm just, or romance or something that, like, I cry at lovely stuff as well, stuff that's not supposed to make you cry, but just raw, honest truth where you can tell that they're being vulnerable and there's some honesty in there. That's what I love the most. And I think with the spoken word art form, I feel like no other art form can be as raw and as honest and as passionate and as beautiful as like spoken word and poetry and storytelling. Like, there's just something about it which is just like mesmerizing, and it can really touch the soul, and it's just, that's why I love it, man. And I feel like especially I feel like a lot of people sometimes might see me and they might, or if they, I don't know, a lot of people assume that I wouldn't. I don't know. You know what it's like. People judge.
As in that
people
like,
judge people, man.
You wouldn't have that side to you.
Yeah. People judge people. They think, oh, look, he's like a Jack the Lad, or he's this person, you know. But I love all that deep stuff. I think that's why in the early days my poetry was doing that, or my poetry does well, or was doing so well, because they see me when I was 16, like that's like a little street kid from the hood. Yeah, like obviously he's whatever, had this sort of upbringing, or he's like this stereotypical kind of whatever you want to box you want to put me in. But he's talking about all these like esoteric and conscious stuff, and talking about the world, and you know, these beautiful deep things that are quite like forward thinking and quite social commentary, was like on the like left wing social commentary, which has got a lot of you know, deep kind of meaning to it, and it's quite insightful. But when you look at him, he just looks like a little street kid who's like 9 stone on the bus stop, who looks like he might rob you, or might I don't know, might do something.
Kind of play into that contrast, maybe. Or
I kind of do, but it's kind of just me in general. That's kind of who.
That is it.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not even trying to. Yeah, do you know? So,
yeah. Look. On that note, mate. This last piece, the Doorsteps of Britain. Should we just jump on straight on and hear it, or is there a little preamble?
It's up to you, really. I mean,
this little great piece.
Open your ears and listen to it, and
listen
just
to the
thank you as well, thank you for listening to it, I guess. And yeah, it's deep, and I fucking love it.
Okay, cool. So this is the third and final piece we're going to hear from Sonny Green, and it's entitled Doorsteps of Britain.
The sun sets whilst I'm streaming. Today, we pray online. God, I know you're with us, filled up on Holy Spirit like milk bottles dropped off at 5 a.m. on the doorsteps of Britain. Silent and despondent, tired like our culture, like our politics, like our poetry. The peasants are conforming, now my estate is voting Boris. BJs and cheap rides were always in abundance, and we're used to being fucked, so I guess they trust the devil they know. I thought we was braver than that, but true say, we're tired toddlers left on British doorsteps in baskets made of vines that strangle and choke the hope of the romantic. The roots, they stem from children's homes that was exposed as being overgrown with paedophile rings. 70s kids abused, our parents abused. And Cherry Scott told you, Jimmy Savile was her babysitter. Margaret Thatcher was her mother. They sang God Save the Queen as they played with one another on the doorsteps of Britain. Tense and traumatized, we hide our bruises behind our bravado, and still the baby screams. The baby screams a cry of freedom and cries tears of truth. They drop out of the baskets made of vines and onto the street. The blood flows down the drain, into the sewer and into the sea. You want a happy ending? But this one comes for free. So welcome to reality. In the basket lies the future, the present and the past. Tell me what you want, sir. You only have to ask. Go on. Ask me my opinion. Go on. Ask me for a glass. They're quick to get you drunk but won't give you a second chance on the doorsteps of Britain. Sweet Caroline, da, da, da. Good times never felt so good. So good, so good. Sublime, but if you park outside, man, you'll probably get a fine. Stupid modern man, always worry about the time on the doorsteps of Britain. The class system is a crime. They label us the chavs and then ask us for a line on the doorsteps of Britain, doing what we're told, and inside their ivory towers, they're sitting on their gold. You ain't great no more. You're boring and you're old. You try to sell the people's soul, but our spirits can't be sold on the doorsteps of Britain. The diamond from the heart of Africa is inside the Tower of London. Until it returns to the motherland, We will always be confused. On the doorsteps of Britain, broken and abused. On the doorsteps of Britain, leave me be, leave me alone. On the doorsteps of Britain, where they killed us through our phones. On the doorsteps of Britain, leave a rose by my grave. I fought hard for this country, but they buried me a slave. On the doorsteps of Britain, the sun sets whilst we stream. And I can still hear my neighbour singing, God, save the Queen.
Boom. So there we go. That was Sonny Green with Doorsteps of Britain. That is an incredible piece. Just a reminder, if you guys are listening to this, you can watch the entirety of it up on YouTube, or if you just want to watch some of the little clips, you want to watch him do that piece, The Doorsteps of Britain, or any of the other pieces you've heard, go and check out YouTube or IGTV. Sonny, thank you so much for performing that piece, man. That was epic. It was epic. It was so good. So yeah, thank you very much. You know what? I need to grab my laptop charger.
Is it going to die?
Yeah, man, it's going to die.
Sorry, I was just whacking you on my gram.
You were just filming me as well. It's all very professional, but still good. So one other thing I wanted to ask you about, mate, is you recently went over to Munich and performed with Asian Dub Foundation. So how long have you been kind of collaborating with them?
6 years. Yeah.
How did you get into it?
Because the spoken word stuff in 2012 took me on, I got on the Lahane tour and Secret Cinema. So we done a show at Broadwater Farm, and then we done a show at Reading and Leeds, and then we done a show at Wilderness Festival, etc. And Asian Dub Foundation was doing the live score for Lahane, and that's where the manager saw me and Bobby Marshall and all the band and everyone, and they was just like, yeah. And then I was doing the sound system. And it all just come together. Yeah, it all just come together. And then they asked me to come on tour with the sound system.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what was the show like in Munich? Because obviously it wasn't cool, a packed out crowd, because it couldn't be, right?
It was at the Backstage in Munich, which is an amazing venue. Big up all the crew there. Big up Mateus.
It looked epic.
Yeah, big up everyone, man.
Venue.
Like, they was wicked, but obviously there's 1,000. It's supposed to be 1,000 people in there, but they can only have 150 people sitting down, and they have to sit down. And if they stand up, the security guard jumps on them. You know, it was all rather intense. But Soom T was there, an incredible reggae artist who I love. By the way, big up Soom T. And yeah, we done a show with Ghetto Priest, Activator, DJ John Pandit, like the original DJ from ADF from day one. And yeah, man, it was incredible.
Yeah,
and I love Germany. It was the second time I've been there to perform in Munich. And it was just, yeah, I love Munich. I love the River Isar. I wrote a poem for the river and everything. And yeah, man, it was really beautiful just to escape and get out to doing what we love to do.
Exactly, mate. Well, look, we've now reached the part which I like to call Eyes and Ears.
Love it. Eyes and ears.
Okay, that's for you.
Okay, so Eyes and Ears is the part of the show where we get a recommendation from our wonderful guests, something for our eyes to feast on and something for our ears to find blissful. Now, I'm excited about this one. I feel like you're going to throw up some interesting little things for us.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Let's kick off with your eyes. What do you got for us, Sonny Green?
I want you guys to watch Tower Block Dreams, which is a BBC Three documentary that was done in 2003 or 4. It is about the garage scene and grime scene in Southend, and actually People Just Do Nothing copied the whole documentary and made it into a mockumentary, and it was all coming from my hometown Southend, and it was all based off of that, which is it's really a really fun, entertaining watch, and also you get a little taste of what it's like in Southend and what it was like in the early 2000s, and now you can imagine what it would be like now.
Epic. So that's called Tower Block Dreams, and it's just up on YouTube.
It's just on YouTube. You can't find it anywhere else. So
that's crazy. Look, I think that's a wicked idea, man. I really like the idea of that. It's mad how big People Just Do Nothing has got.
Huge.
Absolutely.
And it all stemmed from Southend, man.
It's
And they
crazy.
never got no credit for it. And the guys in Tower Block Dreams never got no credit for it either. Nobody
Really?
knows about that stuff.
No.
Most people just know about, people just do nothing, like they invented the idea, but they've copied it off of a real documentary.
Yeah, that's
You know.
crazy, man. There is also, there's quite a lot of bits in that show which are basically taken from The Office. Like there's so much David Brent
Yeah.
in there.
But like literally
As well.
character names, there's a Beats is in Tower Block Dreams, Lines, the girlfriend, everything's copied. As soon as you watch it, you'll be like, the whole thing's copied, mate. The whole thing. And big up to them, man. But for me, I'm like a big advocate of like my hometown,
Yeah.
Southend. Like I run a Facebook page, We Love Southend. We've got 20,000 followers on there. Like, and I just promote my Southend as like a go-to place. I want it to be like the LA of like England or whatever. It's the nearest seaside town to London. Like we got cool beaches and that, and we got a cool scene there as well. We got a lot of cool things going on, and it's quiet. There's nice bits, there's rough bits. It's got a lot of soul. It's got a lot of like a lot of stories to tell. So yeah,
I like that, mate. Okay, cool. So what have you got for our ears, mate? What are you going to recommend us?
I'm gonna just recommend a mixtape from my favorite rapper. And it just come out. It's a Pot of Paper, Training Day 3. So yeah, I think it's wicked, man. He just served a long sentence in prison, and he's come out with just so many lyrics. And for me, if you're listening from a different country, or if you're listening from wherever you're listening from, it just sums up kind of the streets really of the UK, but in quite an authentic and honest way, in a poetic way. And it talks a lot about drug addiction and class A drugs, and the actual all sides of it, and it doesn't really glamorize it too much, and that's what I love about it. And there's a lot of pain and a lot of truth and a lot of raw lyrics in there, and there's no choruses really. It's all just bars and lyrics, and it's just banging.
Love that.
So,
mate.
yeah.
dense
Yeah,
lyricism. Well, wicked. So look, let's quick reminder. The first one was Tower Block Dreams. That's up on YouTube. Go and check that out. And then Pot of Paper, Training Day 3, his mixtape. Thank you, mate. Those
No
are
worries, thank
two
you.
wicked recommendations. We like that on the show. Make sure you go and check them out, guys. It will kind of, other than the episode, it kind of adds a bit more context, right, to each guest, what they choose to bring to the show. So thank you very much for that, mate. Right, look, we're reaching the very, very end of this episode. My final question is a kind of always a look ahead. And if you have any kind of words of wisdom to share, this is your moment.
Yeah, well, I've got a song coming out on the 23rd of October called Grenade, and they've got a cool music video for that. So check that out. That's produced by Piers McIntyre, Measure to Measure, and the video was done by Mark Barnard, Celtic Pirate Productions, and that's a sick video. So check that out. It'll be out everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, all that, Apple Music. It's called Grenade. And the look ahead to the future, man, is I'm just trying not to be dictated too much by the world, and just gonna keep the fire burning, and just keep doing what we're doing. We've got Trouble Tongue's Coffee Lounge opening up just off of the High Street, which is going to be great. And I want everyone to come there. If you get a chance, come to Southend, come check out the coffee shops. And hopefully in the future, I'd like to kind of franchise that and replicate that across the UK, and make like these little coffee lounges where poetry is like at the core of it, really, and speaking and bringing people together through words.
I think it's a wicked idea, mate.
That, and
when you mentioned that kind of coffee shop idea, I was literally like, okay, I'm getting on a train to Southend when that is up and running, man.
Yeah. And then through that, what happens is we're going to fund like workshops and studio time for like deprived people, not just kids, but young people, adults, and studio time for poets, and like help people through those platforms and through the revenue that we generate through selling coffee, because it's actually it's crazy, the money in coffee and stuff. Like Costa, places like that, they make ridiculous amounts of money. And please try and support your independent local coffee shops. Do you know what I mean? Because it's super important. And also try and get like fair trade, organic, all that good stuff, man. Coffee, like, because there's a lot around it. And for me, especially being clean off of drugs and alcohol, 800 and something days, whatever it is now, and now coffee is like my go-to fix, and it keeps me up and going. And then words of wisdom, I'd just like to say to everyone and to myself, to remind myself, to just just keep being yourself, keep breathing, keep staying true, just follow the good battles, man, and try not to let the devil creep in too much. Do you know what I mean? And try to just stay as righteous as you can, really. And I know it's tough in these times, and I know it's hard to make these decisions. And we've got two sides of us. There's always a negative self-talk, and there's always some positive self-talk. And sometimes the negative self-talk just takes over. And like we really all know what to do. We really all do know the right thing most of the time, and sometimes, in myself included, I just go down that wrong path and sometimes make the wrong phone calls or make the wrong decisions at the wrong times. And little moments in our life can really affect us for a long time. And it's those, and the good moments too. It's the good moments we live for. Overall, I think life is quite painful and stressful and hard. Overall, I think life, when we wake up, it can slap you around the face and it can really bully you about. But live for those good moments, because there will be more of them, and good moments will come, and we can savor these good moments and live for those moments. You might have a bad week or a bad day or a bad year, but there will be moments of beauty and clarity and pureness. Let's live for those moments, because that's what will get us through in the end. So yeah, and also I feel like a lot of us have got a choice as well on how we perceive stuff and how we decide to react to what's going on in the world and to what people say to us. So remember, it's your choice, and we can always turn it around. And yeah, and I just love you, all right? Even if I don't know you, and if I do know you, I love you. And you can always contact me if it ever feels too much, or if it's close to the brink or whatever. Just contact me first, and I'll reply. And things will get better. And Trouble Tongues is always here for you. Sonny Green's always here for you, and Henry's always here for you, I hope. And
yeah, man.
Yeah, the poetry scene is always here for you, and it's about protecting our communities inside our communities and looking after each other as well, and yourself. So yeah, I love you guys.
Well, look, there is some words of wisdom. Look, we're in a very surreal time right now, and I hope people will kind of take those words and ingest their meaning, right? We need a bit of healing in this time, right?
Yeah, man. So, and I wish I spent more time like speaking about that stuff from the heart, rather than speaking about my career and past and all that stuff. But
yeah,
it is what it is, and at least maybe sometimes it's a distraction, and you don't want to go deep too much.
Yeah,
but it's nice to just have a little bit in there.
No worries,
at the end, so that we can leave them with a bit of insightfulness and love. Yeah.
Well, I think the last thing, actually no, let's quickly remind them where you can follow you on Instagram. What's your handle, mate?
At Sonny Green UK. Follow me before I delete it. You can only see me on the streets, baby. Freedom.
That's what I want to end on, mate. So look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Sonny Green, for coming down. Word Spoken podcast, bloody blah.
The best podcast, the best spoken word fire. The best spoken word podcast in the game. Probably the best podcast in the game. We're really smashing it out here. And what's that? Oh God, there's a free.